How we think about employee development is broken. Category 5, EPA Superfund site disaster. It's an old paradigm, and we have to start from scratch to think entirely differently about how we grow and develop fantastic employees. What's the problem? The problem is we're in a parent-child relationship. We're treating our employees as if they're kids, and then HR management is acting as if they're the parent. And that's a dynamic when you have all adults in the room that just frankly doesn't make a lot of sense. So when we think about employee development and parenting, we're doing the worst things. We're having absentee parentism, we're using bribes and distractions, trying to control lots of things, or even wiping our hands of development altogether and outsourcing it to someone else or some other provider or program. And frankly, your employees will live up to your low expectations. If you expect them to act and be like children, they will. So when you set the bar low, they'll achieve your low standards. And frankly, even the most deadbeat parents don't really want a child to be in their basement when they're 40 years old, and you really don't want the proverbial employee to be that way either. This is about helping people launch and grow and thrive and come into their own, and we should be encouraging that independence and that autonomy and their own development and growth. So there's a better way. There's a way that puts less of a tax on management and HR and empowers employees in an environment where they can be in the driver's seat of their own development. The shift is shifting from parent to peer. It's working together in a way that allows you to be a confidant and to provide guidance and to be support and be a trusted advisor in a consultative way rather than having them under your thumb. Now, really, this is the difference between giving a woman a fish versus teaching her to fish. And this isn't saying go do it yourself or figure it out. It's being side by side and helping them grow, but you're teaching sustainable skills that last a lifetime. And frankly, you're not just developing good employees, you're activating and developing good people, people that go out into the community, into our country, and make great things happen with the skills that they learn at work, in other contexts and other environments, which is a big, big, big deal. So your question is like, how do you make this happen? And you raise your eyebrow, like the emoji, and you think about it, but there's 4 key things I want you to remember to take away from this if you want to shift from parent to peer and transform how you develop employees. The first is to think about it like equipping them to grow. This is resources, this is autonomy. And think of it like a high adventure for a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout. They're gonna pack some things, you're gonna expect some of the unexpected, there's gonna be some issues, but you're gonna have them with a resource and let them know that it's gonna be an adventure and that's part of the learning. Don't give them the answers, give them guidance. Let them plan and map their own journey. Facilitate the thinking, right? But let them make the decision of their courses and what they're going to do. The third thing you want to do is encourage them. And this isn't a helicopter parent participation award. This is about actual progress. You want to be the go-to that gives them the gender-neutral fist bump when they achieve something great or fantastic, and have the person, when meaningful incremental progress is made, you celebrate together. And the last thing is you want to maintain incredibly high expectations and high standards for them to live up to. You want to inspire them to do better over time with those high expectations, because that's really what drives performance and maximizes potential for your outstanding employees. Now, this may sound fairly simple, but so does IKEA furniture when you try to put it together. Oftentimes, it's a little bit more complicated and a hot mess than you expect. And there's not a TaskRabbit for this. So when you think about employee development and shifting, you have to realize that struggle is a part of the journey. You may see things that look like failure, actually is people getting out of their comfort zone and learning and making mistakes. And you want to celebrate that and relish in when people make those mistakes, because that's a part of development and learning. You also want to make sure that you're working with the willing. Some people don't want to do this. Don't work with them. Ignore them. Put the spotlight on your best people. HR, stop working with the sickest patients. Think like an NFL team. Draft the best, okay? So work with the willing. And then Clay Christensen, who I saw speak in this room a couple years ago, wrote this great book. He talks about if you're a great manager, you can make a huge difference in people's lives. You're creating fantastic people. People spend so much time at work. Create the environment that creates great people, that creates great lives. That's the opportunity we're talking about. So you want to remember to equip people to grow, to offer guidance, but don't give them the answer. Encourage meaningful performance and set those very, very high standards and maintain them. I'm offering you the opportunity to upgrade your thinking about employee development to not just create great employees, but to create great people. Thank you.